Well, hey everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to, well, this is obviously not my hardcore survival world because I'm in creative mode right now and I'm flying. No, this is actually just a copy of the seed. We're just in the seed of my hardcore world right now, and this is not a world I've played on yet. There is nothing done in this world. I've been playing it for 0 time. And the reason you might be asking yourself, why are we the world you haven't played on before? Well, today we're celebrating 2 things. Number 1, we hit 500 subscribers on YouTube a few weeks ago, and I wanted to do something big to celebrate that because it's kind of a big deal to me. Like it's one of the first like main milestones, I feel like, and it's awesome. It's so cool, and I never would have thought I'd even gotten close to that. So seriously, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so very much. Y'all are absolutely wonderful, coming out and watching the videos and commenting and leaving likes. It means the world to me, you know, and there's nothing better than getting a comment from one of you that says you like the build, or even like ideas, suggestions, because the more you help, the more I learn, and kind of the other way around. Like, it takes a village. It takes a village. And the second thing we're celebrating is we've crossed 1,000 days, 1,000 Minecraft days in hardcore, and I'm super excited about that. So I figured today we'd start off with a little world tour of the original seed, so we can kind of compare what the world looked like before and after. So this area right here was a starting area, and I initially saw these cherry blossoms, and I was like, I'm gonna go this way with the goal in mind of looking for a village. And we went pretty decently far down here. We came across a swamp that's quite a few blocks away, and yeah, we wound up finding nothing, turning back around. And the funny thing was that right over here, right near spawn, there was indeed a village super close by. If I just gone the other way, we would have found this village. It should be popping in right now. There it is. Yeah, there it is. This area might be looking a little bit familiar to y'all. Okay, sorry. I had to turn off the fog. The fog was just too insane. This looks so much better without it on. Anyway, this area might be looking a little bit familiar to y'all. If it is, that is because this is the location of where we have been building everything in our hardcore world. It's so much different now. It's so much different. You can see, obviously, I did a lot of terraforming down here to flatten out this area a bit. Over in this area, like right about here, is where we have our sheep farm. Right over here up against this wall is where we put that little cave that we were putting our ores in to start. Over here is where we have the inn that we built. And, you know, looking at this, it's really nostalgic. And I remember coming over here and not really knowing what I was going to do with the area. And it's just cool to see how things have developed. And there is a lot of terraforming we did. I forgot how much work I've actually put into this world. And I remember coming over here, I'm like, okay, there's kind of a little natural path up here weaving this way. So we built that cliff face right here to kind of level this out a little bit. Took out all this stuff right here, and then we slept our first night in this house right here. Slept our first night in here. We built a little food farm behind it, and we slept in there. Now over here, we completely obliterated this little hill thing here and this one. These things are gone. Both of these are gone. This is gone over here as well. We took out all of that stuff. This right here, this is still here, but it looks a little different now. This was the start of our big cliffside we've been working on recently. And we built the mountain to kind of wrap around over here. And you can probably see how the topography up here led me to make the decision to make this area into a lake, right? Like, this is just naturally lower and everything. And I was like, why don't we have a lake with a waterfall and a mountain? So that's why I went with that. Now this right here, this is where I built my starter home. And we filled in all of this with water to make a pond. And this was the starter home right here, the first one we built. Obviously, we lived in that hut over there for a while, but this was the first one we actually built. And we've obviously built a few more houses up this way. And over here, we did a lot of terraforming to kind of pull this whole area together. We've got a cliff that goes over to here now. And of course, up here is where we built our super awesome iron farm that I just absolutely love. I absolutely love it. And we did some terraforming down here too. I keep forgetting about that. Moof's library is like right here in the world. And then tucked up against here is the cliffside. And then, yeah, the iron farm is up there. And obviously this is so much different now. But I think it's super cool to kind of look back at where we've come from to where we are now, you know, and just kind of observing the differences of the world. So I'm going to come over to here. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy my hardcore world, make a copy of it. And I'm going to go into that copied version in creative so we can fly around and tour it a little bit easier. But I'm going to park myself about right here. Okay. And when we come back, we're going to be in about the same area, and you're just going to see the entire world we've built behind us. So 3, 2, 1, and boom. Look at how different this is. Isn't this crazy? You know, and honestly, me going back and looking at the seed of the world, I didn't realize how much I'd done. I didn't realize that we've done so much. It didn't feel like, to me, it didn't feel like that I'm like doing very much in 1,000 days of Minecraft, but kind of looking at the differences here, it's really blowing my mind how far we've come. So I'm going to give a little tour of this area now real quick. So the first thing was, obviously I flattened this area out a little bit. It's still messy. Still messy. I didn't want it to be completely flat. We've still got some terrain change over here, but I just imagined this whole huge like wheat field area, and you know, ignore this area over here. I was kind of just grinding some materials I needed. This will all be gone. And at some point, this will all be wheat fields over here as well. I just need to really get down and do it. But I guess we should kind of go in order of the things, in the order that we built things. So I'm going to go up top here. I'm going to probably follow a little bit along with the actual history of this world. So obviously, you know, this is looking so much different now. We'll ignore this too, but this was the starter house. This was what started this entire area right here. And I love this house. This was the pond I was telling you guys we filled in. I still never changed those from path blocks, but I think at this point I'm just going to leave them. It adds some personality to the world. But this was our starter house right here. It's missing a few blocks. It must have gotten hit by lightning at some point. Even though I'm pretty sure I have fire spread off on this world, but hey, that's all right. Okay, so inside, let's take this. We were not going to tour every building inside, but this one I'm going to. We made a nice, compact, cozy starter house here with a little decorative area over here. Not much going on. A little bedroom right up here. And do we still have anything in here? No, we cleared everything out. And just a cozy little bedroom. We're using composters as walls, something I love to do for little log cabin feels. And we had ourselves a super efficient little kitchen here. We had 2 smelters, a little workbench over here with everything we'd need. And this was where we initially stored stuff. Like you can see some of our original armor in here, some goodies over here that I haven't used yet. And I think the rest of these are cleared out at this point. And we built this little loft up top too for preliminary storage. Because you know, when you first start a world, you just kind of throw everything around. And that's exactly what we were doing in here. But by and all, this was a super amazing little starter home, you know, and it got us well. And I mean, we're still technically living in it. I just don't really live in a home anymore. I don't have to fight things, but yeah, it was the first thing we built on this world. Then we came down here, and this was where I was telling you about that little natural bend that goes up, and I did this entire cliffside and the path going up. The path was a little bit of different design at first, but I changed it up to this after I decided I wanted to go with this. And honestly, this is still probably one of my favorite builds on this world because it's just such a great view from here. Like when you're walking up, it's just so pretty looking. I'm gonna get a bed in my just because it's gonna be bedtime soon. And next, I'm pretty sure we built this house on a very short little episode. There was a little house here that I wanted to convert into something that matched the theme of the area. We eventually came down here, and this was where we were storing our ores at first. We built like a little mine shaft and a little storage area outside. I like this idea so much of like using these things to kind of separate them, to show what's in there. And inside we built like a little workers den here. You know, they come and sleep here for overnight shifts or something. Just had all these little chests with things kind of storing our ores in them. Of course, we had a little crane over here kind of lifting the ores up from the bottom, and have glass down there to kind of make it look a little bit smoky. And over here was our first like super smelter, if you want to call it that. It's just two of these systems hooked up where you put stuff in here and it just automatically goes through while you're often doing something else. Now this is where order of things might get a little funky for me. I'm not gonna remember everything exactly, but I'm pretty sure he came up here, and this may have been before we did down there, but this was Moof's library. Initially it was just this part of the building right here. This silo and this tunnel over here weren't there. And it also, look, we used spruce wood instead of the bricks, the granite, and the white terracotta. But I fell in love with this look on some of the other buildings. Specifically our blacksmith up here, which we'll get to. And I came back down here and changed this. But initially inside, this was just a bunch of bookshelves down here and some more bookshelves up here. And I built a third floor over here that just for our enchanting table and a little bed. Now, eventually at some point, obviously we had some needs for villagers. So we built that silo, and we'll go look at it again in a minute. But inside we have a villager breeder that hasn't been active for a while because I have to come up here and actually manually give them carrots. And that was intentional. I didn't want to have an auto ongoing and just villagers all over the place. But we might set that up soon because I'm starting to get to a point where I want villagers walking around outside. We've got all the ones we need in here. We've got mending super cheap because we've got in the hallway, you have the zombie to convert them. And we've got everything we need. We don't really need any more villagers in this. There is one more I want to get and put him in here, but I need to do that. Maybe we'll do that today. But then, yeah, this is the outside. This is a silo. We built a little custom tree outside, and you know, adding this on seriously helped the build so much. It looked a little weird, just this at first. Adding this on really changed the aesthetic of it. Now, at this point, I needed more storage, and I needed to be able to smelt things way faster than that little smelter over here was kicking for us. So over here, we kind of carved out a little area along the cliff here, and we built this crane. I love this crane still. I think it looks super cool, and it's carrying the ores up from the mines to where we had a smelter at one point. Now I've torn out the smelter part, but the structure's still here, and I'm not sure what I should do with this. I need to figure out what I want to do with this. Maybe it's just a visual thing at this point and we keep it like this, but we had a super smelter in here initially. I also came over here and we built this inn. It's cottage. This is supposed to be like kind of like a little hotel. And you know, in hindsight, I probably wouldn't have added it to this world. It doesn't really match the theme of the rest of the builds, but this was something I'd built for another world and I never got to use it. It was supposed to be in a snowy biome and I never got to use it. I was like, I'll put it in here. Why not? Why not put it in here? So this one might actually be making a return if we ever play in a snowy area. But, you know, like I said, hindsight, it doesn't really match anything else. But what I've tried to do is kind of make the things down here like more wood themed, except for that. But even that's not the same as up there. So hopefully it kind of fits in, but the point of this was to make a storage area, something that looks nice, and have an area for my horses. So we built these stables in underneath, and I love this. I think this is super awesome. And inside we have like an actual little inn. So I don't know why I'm closing the door. I'm in creative mode, but you know, you got the little entryway for the meet and greet with the person. Down the hallway here, you have one little bedroom for weary travelers. In the back, you have a little pub back here with some shelves in the back for reading material. And upstairs here, you have a little bit bigger room, with some more windows on it for, you know, VIP guests. Cozy little fireplace over here. And downstairs, this was our initial storage area right here, our first attempt at organizing things. And this is what I used until I built my super mega sorter right now that I have, which I still need to finish. There's a lot of things that I still need to finish in this world. The way my brain works is I would work on something for hours at a time and then be like, I need to go work on something else now because I want to get started on that before I forget that idea. And then I leave the first idea on the backtrack. Like, I don't do it. And then eventually it's just another idea and another idea and another idea. It's a disease. It's a disease. I can't help it, but I need to just sit down one night and just kind of start finishing up the projects I need to do. So then next, I believe we did a live stream and we built these two houses back here, and just added so much to this area, because before you just kind of come up here and it was just my house. And remember, this cliff wasn't here either. It was just my house. But now it's got kind of like a village feel to it. And again, we need to add a lot more homes through here. I plan on making a path that goes all the way up to our bee farm there and adding some houses along the way, and probably bringing some houses over here too. I've started terraforming up here off camera to kind of make that a reality. And I might make this like a little lake here too, with a waterfall going down over there. We're gonna have to see how things pan out, but yeah, adding these two houses I think really helped kind of pull this area together. It just made it feel more alive. And I specifically remember doing this one on stream. I had a lot of fun building this one because we tried a lot of different things with it to make it work. We've got these little shutters right here. We've got oak trapdoors as windows. We've got spruce fence as windows, and we've got some bamboo, the scaffolding as windows too. And we used a lot of different colored blocks in here that I wouldn't normally do. Like, there's some weird variations in here with the tuff and the mossy cobble, the bricks, the white terracotta, the granite, and moss. And we also threw some glow lichen in on it, and I think it all worked. We've also got some stone bricks. I mean, there's a wild amount of different textures in here, but I think it all works. And of course, there's nothing inside of these. We never did anything inside of these. Like I said, I want to eventually do the interiors and have villagers kind of walking throughout over here. I think it's going to be super awesome. And at some point, you know, we filled in this with water and we made it look a little bit more alive. Added a marshy outside to it. We put some stuff underwater too. And you know, honestly, I think this is probably one of my favorite things on this world. Eventually terraformed over. We hadn't quite done this cliff yet, but then we did do it to get this waterfall coming down. And you know, we originally had some axolotl in here, a couple axolotl. I don't know what happened to them. I think I had some weird corruption thing where I was able to save the world, but I think my axolotl disappeared. We tried to put some frogs in here. They all hopped away. We're going to go on an axolotl hunting spree at some point here and just kind of fill this up with axolotl again. Just to give it some life, or some tropical fish, but the fish always seem to just kind of swim in one spot. The axolotls actually move around, so I don't know. Going back out here, some point after that, I believe we built our sheep farm, and I love this little building. I really do. This is probably my second favorite actual building in this world, apart from my blacksmith. I just love how it all came together, and we tried to use a little bit of a different palette down here. We didn't use the brick and the granite, but we still kept the white terracotta, but we used stone variations and moss instead. And it's it's just such a nice combination. But this kind of doubles as a chicken farm as well, but I wanted to make like kind of like an open garage looking thing here. Took some lecterns to kind of give, you know, a little bit of depth here, and I think that turned out really cool. It looks like a nice little like girder or something, I don't know, but it's got a cool little vibe to it. And you've just got the open ceiling in here with a little area with hay storage up top. In here is just a little chicken coop that we built. It's not super effective, but it does collect eggs. You know, they're free range a little bit. They can walk outside and they'll drop their eggs out here. But if they happen to go inside of the coop and lay an egg, because there's a little hole right there, there's a bunch of hoppers here. You can kind of see them down there, and they'll drop their eggs and their eggs will go in here. We got a good amount. And back here is the sheep farm, and I need to actually check these dispensers to see how the shears are doing in there, but these have served me well. I don't know if there's any colors I haven't used yet, so yeah, I haven't used the light gray at all, and I mean that's a decent amount. So this thing's been working. We just got some more right there too. We're gonna move on to my favorite personal build on this world, and probably one of my favorite builds of all time, our Blacksmith right here. So let's just get started with the inspiration on this. So I use a website called ArtStation to kind of get ideas of what to build. That cat is going crazy down there. So like my thing is I'm not super good at coming up with ideas for builds on my own, right? Like I could never have pictured something like this in my head. So what I'll do is I'll go to Artscape and I'll just look up Blacksmith. And what's cool, or ArtStation, sorry. And what's cool about ArtStation is artists can just put pictures up there that they've done digitally or like physically, and all this, and you can get all kinds of stuff coming through. And I like to sort through all these images till I find one that I like, and I'm like, I can build that in Minecraft. And that's how this one started. There was a picture of this thing that maybe still have it. I'm trying to think if I have the image. Maybe I can show you the image. Yes, I can still show you. This is the image. This is what spawned my idea for that build in particular, and I really loved the way this looked. I saw this this horse stable down here, and I was like, I can make that like a cool little open area with the forge in there. And like I was like, oh, well, it goes stone to brick. I can do that. I can do that. This was like the entryway over here. We eventually built, and then it started getting a little bit too big working down here. So I cut out basically this whole area except for the smokestack. We still have the chimney over there. It doesn't look quite like this. We still have the chimney. And then of course the white terracotta and like spruce wood up top. We even have this bump out here. The roof looks very similar, and I built this tower too. So like, just take this in for a second, and like this is what I like to do is I like to go to this website, and this is where I build my ideas from a lot of the time. Sometimes like smaller builds I'll do it on my own, but sometimes like this I just needed some help. So I think you guys will notice now when I switch back, you'll see that inspiration in this build. So here we go. We're gonna go. I can't fully show it well because of the trees here, but you can see here's that the horse stable area. We've got the same color scheme going up. You know, it started with the stones at the bottom into brick. We've got that one little entryway over here. And this window kind of matches over there. There was something up here as well. We got the chimney up top. And of course, you got the tower up here in the middle. And even like the little bump out window over here on the side. So, you know, if you guys need inspiration for something, I definitely recommend going to ArtStation and just like typing in what you're looking for. And I bet a bunch of cool pictures come up, and you can probably try to recreate some of them in Minecraft. This is just my favorite build I think I've ever done. We've thrown so much detail into this as well. So many layers of layering and everything. And like, just, there's so much going on here, but the inside I think is also where it really shines. You walk in, you've got this cool little like forge smeltery area with some furnaces back here, a workbench. Go upstairs, and we've got a bunch of storage up here for our ores. And then over here, this is where we relocated our super smelter to, because it just made sense to do it at the blacksmith, right? And even in here, we've got a ton of detail packed up here. Like this, I forgot I even did that ceiling there, but I did. I just looked up at it right now and I did. And it's those little details that make all the difference, in my opinion. And of course, all of those smelters, they lead out to here and into these chests specifically. And you got a lot of stuff in here. These chests over here, however, which I just now realized are actually, these aren't double chests. I just realized that. I need to make these double chests. I wonder what happened. I wonder why I never did that. But these right here, these of course go to our iron farm, which we built underneath of this. So I'm going to quickly go into spectator mode so that we can take a peek underground here. Now this is not the cleanest thing in the world, but this is it. We dug a big hole down here and we built this super easy iron farm. And look, there it is at work, functioning as intended. And it's just, you know, it's been working really well for us. We don't need anything super fancy here. I don't need a ton of materials, but that all feeds up into these hoppers right here and gives us all the iron that we could ever need. I'm just going to move on next door at this point because I'm definitely out of order now. But next door, I decided, you know, we had this cliff kind of extend out over here. And I was like, we need to build something over here. And I've been wanting to build a bamboo farm for a while because I needed bamboo. I like the bamboo color and I haven't used it a lot yet other than this building, but I'm intending to soon. So we built this little bamboo farm, and this one was also, you know, partially inspired by ArtStation. I don't have that picture anymore, I know for a fact, but it was something that kind of looked similar like this. It was mostly actually, it was this section here, and then there was a huge building over here that was connected to this, and I didn't want all that. I wanted something smaller, so we just kind of kept the small section of it. But I love how this turned out. We have a little external storage area here for the bamboo, and how cool is it? It's getting there. It's getting there. And we can go upstairs, and this one's not decorated inside at all. I haven't decorated it. It's kind of messy, actually. It's very plain. There's just that area over here, and then the hoppers. The bamboo farm is underneath of this. The bamboo shoots up here, comes through the hoppers, goes into that storage. And then we have a little extra storage down here for once those outside ones fill in. Just so we have like a nice overflow of bamboo. But I decided, since it's right next to the iron farm, to match the styles. But this one has a lot more iron on it up top. This one does too, but not quite as much. And it's like the smelters and stuff. This one just has the bamboo accents on it, right? And the little pieces of bamboo. There's like a little Zen garden underneath, but I think this turned out super well too. And this is around a point in time that we started really working on our mountain up here. So initially I kind of just built this area around here, this little flat part right here, the waterfall, and a couple rows up here, just kind of show where I wanted the rest of this to go. My plan was always to build, you know, this was so weird just looking out into the void over there essentially. So my plan was always to build this little cliff over here, a tree on it that I would call the Tree of Life, have some lore associated with it. Like it provides life to the valley or something. And you know, I've said this a couple times, in hindsight, I would have made this way bigger, but in my creative world, when I was first like designing this, I was like, this is huge. This is definitely big enough. And then I put it on the cliff and it's a little underwhelming. It's a little underwhelming. It's a nice focal point still, you know, from like down here, you can still see it. It's kind of impressive still. Maybe it's weird too, because this mountaintop I put snow on top of is at the same height as it, but it's fine. We're going to ignore that. It's Minecraft. We can do what we want. And coming around the corner is definitely a little cool, but it's not as big as I would have liked it to be, but it's still pretty cool. And, you know, for kind of like a first time large custom tree, I think it turned out pretty decently. And once we got that built, we kind of terraformed this whole area a little bit to make it look a little more lively. We kind of phased out of like the moss and stuff as we went a little bit farther down. It's still there, but it's not as much. There's not as many flowers. There's smaller flowers to kind of show the effects of the tree dissipating as it gets a little bit farther away. And we decided to just go the normal path up here, added some stones, and we built this cool little bridge. This bridge was the bane of my existence, trying to figure something out for it. I don't hate this bridge. I also don't love it, but I do think it works quite well for area it's in. We added in some trees here that were like a little bit different than our ones down there, a little bulkier. And we have this little area over here where the water from the waterfall is flowing out of the cave. We overgrew it with leaf blocks here, and you won't be able to see in here once I'm done with this mountain, so it'll be fine. Of course, the path wraps around over here. And I did some more terraforming up higher. You know, we've got this little funky cliff, which again, I've said this in an episode, I don't like how this turned out, but I am not going to go back and fix it at this point. We have a whole other top of a mountain to work on over here that's going to be much larger, and I'm hoping that I can use that to learn from this one and make this, you know, make this one look better and more realistic. And guys, we spent 3 episodes on the behemoth that's back here that I'm still not done. Okay, like I haven't even done any redstone down on the second layer. There's plenty of hoppers on the first layer here that are not hooked up to anything. So I still got a lot of work to do here, and I need to do it soon because these are my overflow chests right here, and they are backing up. But this is our item sorter, of course, that we built, and it was super long. It took forever to get done, but I'm so glad I did because things are so much easier now. Now we just walk on in here and we can climb these little steps here. I still need to do a little more in the interior here. It's very flat, very plain with just the stone, but I've got 2 shulker box depositors and just a chest for loose odds and ends on myself. What happens here is those items come through to the hopper system here. Why is this block missing? Blocks, I feel like there's just a bunch of stuff missing. It's so weird. And this minecart is mostly just like this whole thing. Like there's no point. I didn't have to do this, but I wanted to have like system going here, and I thought this would be kind of cool as like a little ore depositor looking thing, even though it's broken. And the items will drop through down into the minecart. It drops them into the hoppers, and every once in a while it stops here to kind of, you know, load up faster, make it look like it's getting some more ore or something normal. Now down inside of this thing, oh, this is cool. This is one of my favorite builds too. This room is huge. First of all, it's absolutely gigantic. But also something I didn't realize is that these lights actually bend down a little bit with how I put them in here, but there is so much space for storage down here, and I built an insane, ungodly amount of blacksmith tables here just to make this ceiling. Yeah, we built 2,328 of them. How many other people can honestly say that the smithing table is in their top 10 crafted items in Minecraft? Like, are you kidding me? But anyway, we built this 2 levels to make sure we had enough storage for everything. You know, I don't know how long I'm gonna survive on this world, but I wanted to make sure as updates come rolling through that we can have space for everything we need. Then of course the thought was, what do we fill this huge void in here with? Because we don't want it just open. And a lot of you left a lot of really cool comments in my episodes throughout this, like build this, build that, build this, and they all kind of made me start thinking about building a fossil for some reason, and a really big one. So I sat down one night in creative mode and planned this thing out, and this was my first attempt. Actually, it turned out like this, and I was like, you know what, that's good enough. It's good enough for me. I can deal with that. There's some things I would like to rework, maybe like the tail is super narrow, but I don't know how to make it not be too fat, because like you want it to be about the same width as the spinal column, which is also 1 block. I do think the abs, or the ribs, I think I nailed the ribs getting bigger as it goes up into the chest, and I think the face is pretty cool too. think the face is pretty cool too. I feel like it's kind of just like an alligator. Kind of looks like a little alligator, but I love this. I think it makes this area so much more fun to be in. And it just has like, it adds a little more lore to the area, you know? And then of course, the most recent thing we've done in this world is this bee farm down here that I'm in love with this. This is so cool. We've got the little aviary over here with a bunch of untamed birds in here, and these birds just kind of they're accumulating around each other a lot, but they just fly up every once in a while. It just makes it feel more alive in there. And of course, we've got our little bee farm inside greenhouse over here. And I love the interior of this building too. This is so cozy, so comfy. You know, you've got the area for the wax to come through. The storage area. Here's the aviary over here. Another little workbench. I love building these little workbenches whenever I can. Like a propagation area over here. We've got like a planting area over here. And we got some compost brewing in here, some sinks. And of course, we've got our greenhouse. And I'm absolutely in love with this greenhouse. It's one of my favorite things I've done. I think it looks so cozy. And then all the bees will come out in the daytime. They'll pollinate themselves out here and they'll go back in. They just fly around in here. It's awesome. And you know, I built this underneath of the tree of life intentional. So I wanted a lot of flowers. I wanted a lot of plants. And then of course we went and we did our moss wall here with all the different mushrooms coming out of it from the tree of life, just giving life to the area. And oh my gosh, this just turned out so much better than I thought it would. And when I first did this, I didn't have any of the moss. I didn't have any of the leaves on here. And it didn't really look that great, honestly. It wasn't until I added that in that I was like, oh, this has come together really nice. This has come together really, really nicely now. And I'm just, oh, it's super cool. I want to wrap it around over here as well. Go up a little bit, and we might even take it a little bit farther. I'm not sure. And with the overworld out of the way, there's really only one last place to kind of show off here, and that is, of course, our Ender that we built, our XP farm. And I love this thing. It's been super, super handy. And it's not too far away from our base either, which is even better. Kind of went with a mangrove and bamboo theme with the end stone. I thought they matched really well. Yeah, I think this looks super cool anyway, but with the shaders on, it just exponentially increases it. Got some clear glass floors down here, and like you can see the stars through them with the shaders on. It just looks like you're walking on nothing. I mean, there's a little bit of a shine there, but it's not a lot. And then you've got the end rods just kind of lighting the whole way through here. And God, I just love seeing the void, the aura from out here. Like, oh, it's just so cool. It's so cool to come walk down this hallway here. And then of course we come to the main room. Excuse the mess. You know, the ender rods just kind of get there sometimes. And we've got this room less well lit. You can really see the stars shining through. Ignore that too. We don't want to see that. We'll never see that. But this is just kind of the spawning room, and it's super awesome. This thing's been so helpful. These guys are all one hit. They should be. Apparently they're not. Well, they die. They die eventually anyway. But yeah, come down here with the sword. It's one hit with the sword for sure. So we just get a ton of XP super fast, and this is the only reason we're able to enchant as much stuff as we have so far. So, but anyway, everyone, that unfortunately is all I have time for today. I really thought I would have some time to do something else at the end of stream, and I didn't. The tour just took way too long. We've got a lot coming up in this world. There's a lot planned, and we're gonna get to it very soon. I have some huge plans on the docket, getting ready to get built and done. So we're gonna have some pretty big beefy episodes coming up, I think. So, but anyway, y'all, if you did enjoy this episode, please make sure you like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. And again, I couldn't have gotten here without all of y'all. 500 subscribers is amazing to me. I can't believe I'm there, and I can't believe we've survived 1,000 days in hardcore Minecraft. The best is still yet to come, but I appreciate everyone who's been here for any portion of this journey so far. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm absolutely, I just broke something. I'm absolutely loving it right now, guys. I'm absolutely loving it. So again, thank you all so much. I really appreciate you being here, and be on the lookout for next week's episode. Hopefully I'll get it out on time. I've been a little late on these. I know, I'm sorry. I've been really busy with other stuff, but again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you all so very much, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much. I'll see you later. Have a good one. Bye.